Good day, friends. It's another episode of my Top 5 in 5, my end of the month podcast where I kind of review just what has been happening this past month. And I'm sitting here in my kitchen this afternoon. It's a Sunday afternoon after Thanksgiving. And yesterday was 55 degrees and today it's maybe 20 with some snow. So Iowa weather is delightful. I had a fun month, I have to say, this month. And I kind of am sitting here thinking I was back in Panama City Beach with my friend Brenda. We just got back a couple weeks ago, and I think about how lucky I was to go for just a few short days. And it was interesting because it was only 70 degrees there one day. And then I think about what it's like here now, and 70 seems pretty amazing. But I can't complain because I really have started to have this mantra this month, but every month, of just being extremely grateful and thankful for everything I have in my life, not just during the holidays, but all year round. I think it's so important to make sure that we're taking the time to be grateful and thankful on a regular basis. And so I know I've talked about in the past before that I do a joy jar where I put a joy of every day in at the end of the day. And I really would recommend that you start doing that just because it helps make you aware of those joys and those things that you're grateful for every day. And then I read them all at my birthday. So in a few months, I'll be reading my last year's joys. And I think it's just so fun to sit there with a glass of wine or a cocktail and just read through all of them and remember all the great things that have happened in the past year. And usually I have a little help from my gangster kitty, so that's kind of fun too. But I am thankful for this past week. I think Thanksgiving is such a fun time. I enjoy going to my family's house and really just having a good time with family and seeing people that I don't see on a regular basis and having those fantastic conversations, looking at old pictures and just reminiscing about our lives as a family. And I hope you guys all had the great opportunity to do that as well. This past month, I also was so fortunate to speak at the Iowa Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics annual meeting. And I shared with them why I do all of this and why I enjoy my podcast and writing my book. And it's all because of probably the year of 2015, when it was a crazy year for me personally. But I listened to this podcast specifically with Tim Ferriss and Derek Sievers. And Derek was talking about how he says yes and no to things when he gets asked of something. And he's a huge entrepreneur who makes a ton of money. And of course, he gets asked to do a lot of different things. And he said in his podcast that if it's not a hell yeah, if he can't 100% say hell yes as his answer, then it's a hell no. And I think that resonated with me so much because I would say yes to a lot of things I didn't want to do or I wasn't comfortable with. And I just decided that that's not how I'm going to live my life anymore. I'm going to be all in and I'm going to say hell yeah when I want to do something, and I'm going to say hell no when I don't want to do something. So my mantra probably over the past few years has been embracing the hell yeah. And I really want to say hell yeah to things. I really want to make sure that I'm doing things that get me excited, that make me want to be present, that make me want to do great things in my life and in other people's lives. So I think it's time, make sure that you're writing down your joys, being grateful, and embracing the hell yeah, especially as the new year comes. I've had some great podcast guests who I think that have embodied embracing the hell yeah this past month. I celebrated my 100th podcast, which is very exciting for me. I didn't think I'd get past 10 when I started this. So thinking about that and thinking about 100 podcasts and 100 conversations is super exciting. And I thank Sam Osterhaus for being my 100th podcast. She was a great inspirational person who decided to embrace the hell yeah and say yes to a new career opportunity. And I think that's a fantastic mantra to have, that she just finds those passions and she just goes for it. I also had Caroline Weeks, who I thought I knew, but I didn't know enough. And having that conversation with her just getting to know more about her past and how she has also embraced the hell yeah by taking the leap to try something different and to do some different things in her life, I think is also very impressive, and who still follows her passion of music and plays in the Des Moines Symphony. I mean, this girl has got a lot of things going on, and she is just very inspiring too. And then my last podcast, which is my Cocktails and Conversation podcast of this month, there is some madness to my methods. So there's a reason why I keep doing these, and it'll all come to fruition at some point. But I really just have to thank Carrie again for having such a great conversation with me about the holidays and just how it's different for everybody, especially dietitians in different walks of life, how we are people and how we do our own things with our own families. And it's important to kind of share that personal side of conversations with people that I enjoy speaking with. And so I hope that you have had some fantastic conversations this past week, especially with your family. I also hope that you have a great month of December and your upcoming holiday if you celebrate. And I do have to share what I'm loving right now because I'm looking at it. I'm pretty excited. I just got my nails done, which is a total sidetrack, but this color, I'm Not a Waitress by OPI, is a really pretty color for the holidays. So it's pretty cool. I kind of like it. It's a new one. So that's what I'm loving right now. I'm also loving this past week, all my podcast guests this month, and looking forward to talking with you again at the end of December.